Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Today we're going to be talking about the second episode of the brand new Pokemon anime that aired yesterday. We are doing the episode review on a Monday, since we finally got a chance to watch it. Me and Ollie, if you haven't seen our previous episode review, that is about the Pikachu kind of special episode, Pikachu's backstory, called Pikachu is Born. I suggest you do watch that first, since, I mean, this is technically like the first episode, but technically it's not the first episode of the series, so that'll be in the description or at the end of the video. But Ollie, what did you think of today's episode? Probably like the first proper episode, I'd say, of the new Pokemon anime.
Well, I've got to say, if this is the benchmark for what we're going to get in future in terms of animation and story, it's going to be superb. I mean, the plotline itself felt like in a bit of a mini movie, seeing these awesome fights against Lugia. The animation was top notch.
Yeah, the animation was really good, because I was kind of like, I said it wasn't that it wasn't good last episode, it was just there wasn't much of it, but yeah, they definitely saved a lot of great material in terms of animation for this episode. And before I get into any more detail about this episode, I just want to mention the title of the episode, and that is, if I can find it, On Lugia They Go, Ash and Go. So
a nice little pun there.
It is a nice little pun. But let's talk about the episode. Ollie, I'll let you start off.
So it starts again with yet another throwback to what we've seen in previous Kanto series. Ash oversleeping yet again. Pikachu does his very best to try and get him up, but Ash just is in such a deep slumber that Pikachu has to electrocute him, and even then that's not enough. But good old Delia Ketchum comes in and saves the day, and he just about makes it to Oak's lab to get in his car and go to Vermilion City.
Yeah, I was going to say, when Pikachu shocked Ash with Thunderbolt, whatever it was, I was like, oh, Ash is going to get up now. How he slept through that, I have no idea. Because I was saying to you at the time, that's got to be one of the worst ways to wake up.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
Which is, it's crazy. He must be that used to it. But at the same time, he must have been having one heck of a dream, because I think most people are going to get up to that.
Yeah, so anyway, Ash goes to Vermilion City with Oak and Delia Ketchum, obviously his mom, to Professor Sagaragi's new lab, which is getting its official opening. By the way, I'm going to say Professor Oak is a right baller. His car, clean. It's like a classic car. I don't know exactly what it looks like.
It's so fly, honestly. No wonder Ash's mom's trying to hook up with him.
I mean, yeah, that's just a theory, but Ash gets dropped off by Professor Oak and goes up the steps of the new lab. Which, by the way...
Here's what I want to say, right? It looks so similar to Oak's, but Oak doesn't say anything. He's probably seething with jealousy inside. He's like, this lab looks so much better.
Well, this guy's copied his design, so you get the steps up the hill. It's literally on the left-hand side, similar to how Professor Oak's lab is in Pallet Town. And I remember, I was watching it, and my first thing was, seriously? Like, that's what I said to you.
I know, yeah, we both thought, well, that looks identical, like in terms of topography and everything. But genuinely, it looks so much nicer than Oak's, and he's probably just like...
But it's in a big city.
Yeah, where's my budget for this?
Yeah, so Ash walks up to Professor Sagaragi's lab and meets his first Generation 8 Pokemon, Yamper, who is Koharu's, which we'll see in a little second. But Yamper doesn't really take kindly to Ash, and like Ash kind of eggs it on a bit. It's like growling because it kind of thinks Ash is maybe an unwanted guest. So Ash starts crawling up to it, similar to something from a scene in The Exorcist. It's kind of creepy the way he does it. And yeah, Yamper doesn't like it because Ash hugs it, and it's like, I'm not having this. I don't know you.
I find it funny because Pikachu looks at Ash as soon as he picks him up, and it's like, oh, here we go again. He's being a prat, and he gets what he deserves and gets absolutely electrocuted.
Yeah. Luckily, Pikachu and Yamper hit it off much better. They really like each other, which is good to see. Electric type.
Some electric type affiliation. Yeah. I thought it's really nice. I think Yamper's going to be a great addition to the team, especially within the show. Just the relationship with Pikachu's budding ever so nicely. And then we get to see Koharu come up.
Yeah.
And this was quite funny because she stumbles upon Ash's corpse, if you will. And Yamper basically runs up to her. It's like, look at what a great job I did.
I was going to say, it was kind of obvious to her that Yamper has done this. She didn't even apologise to that. She was just like, oh, this is kind of awkward. He might be dead.
Sidesteps him. It sort of shows a bit of Koharu's personality. I think she's quite shy.
I'm not sure if it is that. I know it could be.
I think she's a bit antisocial around boys. I don't know what it is, but we get to see a lot though, of her, throughout bits and bobs. So we have Sakaragi's lab opening. She's not there. She's upstairs.
Yeah,
she's hiding away from
I think
that.
that's kind of, she's embarrassed by her dad. It's kind of, you see that throughout the episode, and I think we're going to see that in the future, because it's obvious, like in the first episode she looked up to her dad being a professor, Pokemon professor, and now she's kind of like, obviously she's like 10 probably, so she's not like a moody teenager, but it's kind of like that. She's kind of like, oh, like it's embarrassing being around my dad, he's so into Pokemon kind of thing.
It's difficult to put down at the moment.
Yeah,
but,
we're just making assumptions, but it does seem like that.
But I think we'll see more of her as obviously we go on, and we'll get a further understanding of her character. But yeah, Professor Sagaragi, I really like this dude. He's so energetic and like really into Pokemon. And I could see why Goh would really hit it off with him, and obviously that's probably why he got to know Koharu so well, is because he's so into Pokemon.
Yeah, so we get Professor Sagaragi's presentation next, and actually get a few Easter eggs in there. So 2 obvious ones, and maybe a bit of a stretch, but I'm still going to stick by this one. So first we see 3 different coloured eggs, which obviously purple, yellow, green. This is from Pokemon Go, because normally eggs are just kind of, they either look like the Pokemon that's going to hatch, and I guess in old Pokemon episodes they just used to be the green one, from what I remember. I could be wrong on that, but like I do remember obviously Pokemon Advance, May gets an Eevee, it looks like an Eevee, the egg. The Mudkip eggs look like Mudkips, blue and orange show. It's always typically been the green, especially within the games as well, so exactly. I feel like this was a little nod towards Pokemon Go, which is quite good. Exactly, so we get that, and then we also get a logo of Pikachu from Pokemon Quest on like I guess a moving box.
Just to remind people that this thing existed, and not to forget about it, like most of us have done. Yeah,
it wasn't good, I'll be honest. And then the last Easter egg, and I'm gonna like stick by this. We see a Pidgeot with a group of Pidgeotto and Spearow watching on, and they're in like a little village. It's probably Pallet Town, and because it just looks like that in terms of the landscape and the roofs of the building. And obviously, if you know what happened to Ash's Pidgeot, then this picture makes a lot of sense. It could be a reference. For those who don't know, Ash basically released his Pidgeot to protect the other Pidgeotto from a gang of Spearows and Fearows. So this lone Pidgeot leading a group of Pidgeotto, which looks like it's near Pallet Town, and that's where Ash released it. I think this is a picture of Ash's Pidgeot. Seems to be doing fine. Obviously, it's not really enough to say it is Ash's Pidgeot, but I really, really hope it is.
Yeah, potentially a stretch, but I like to believe your theory.
I think there's enough.
I think... Do you know what? I'm going to agree with you and say that it is.
Yeah.
Because I want to believe that that's Pidgeot. I want, it's a Pokemon that's lingered on many people's minds ever since.
Yeah.
So I'm backing you on that one.
Cool. I appreciate it.
So next up, we see Professor Sagaragi's alerted that a rare Pokemon may be spawning, but like prior to that, we do see Goh obviously for the first time, and he's awaiting like a raid, because he's expecting this rare Pokemon to appear, and then Sagaragi, I don't know if he should have done this, but he says like, hey everyone, the rare Pokemon's going to spawn at the port in 20 minutes. And literally everyone abandons his lab like someone was offering a free shiny Pokemon or something.
I know, yeah. It reminds me of, in fact, it's kind of very, very similar to the first like few days of Pokemon Go, when it's like, oh my god, Charizard spawned, whatever, and you see thousands of people running towards it. It reminded me of that, actually.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Oak, because he's driven quite a way. That's a long drive, and everyone's just suddenly left the moment they've arrived. Oak probably had this big speech about all his research and stuff. So yeah, he'll be gutted. But it does lead us to a very cool and probably the best action scene so far of the Pokemon anime.
Yeah. Do you mean in terms of this season, or do you mean ever?
Oh no, well, sorry. I suppose in terms of this season, I think it'd be hard pressed to say it's the best ever.
Yeah.
But in terms of what we've seen in a TV production, it's got to be up there, I've got to say. Lugia emerges from this stormy ball of lightning, which is awesome, I've got to say.
I do want to question what the actual, like, the lore behind that cloud is, why it just randomly appears out of nowhere, how Lugia travelled, how it just appeared there. Obviously, that's how raids are going to work in this. I'm assuming that's not the last raid we'll see.
Yeah, I just want to know how that works. I'd like to know how that works, but at the same time, I do not care one bit.
Yeah, I get you.
This was so cool. You get to see all these Pokemon fighting. We start off with Wartortle, Gengar,
and Jolteon.
And a Jolteon,
yes.
Yeah. They just hit these attacks that the trainers are like amped up, like, yeah, use these awesome moves. And Lugia's like, are you kidding, mate?
Yeah.
These are so weak.
Not very effective, basically.
No,
yeah.
But the next lot that come out, in particular, Bisharp, Garchomp, and Corviknight, and that obviously this is again another chance to look at a Galarian Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. The fight animation was incredible.
It was amazing.
There's so many great frames to go over, honestly. Like if you're a bit of an animation nerd like me.
I also want to point out that in one of the anime previews, I'm not sure if it's before the first episode aired, I think it was actually, Garchomp's mouth was like purple, the bottom jaw of it, and obviously we know that's red, and thankfully they went back and fixed it. I did tweet about it. Clearly they saw my tweet. I'm just joking.
You have that much power.
Yeah.
They've gone and seen it. So you were celebrating that, weren't you?
I was like, yes, they fixed it. So obviously there are going to be mistakes in Pokemon episodes. It happens now and then. Not a problem. It doesn't take anything away from the episode, but if there is ever a mistake like that in a preview, it just shows they might actually change it, which is really cool to see. But yeah, so Ash basically decides to take Lugia one-on-one after Bisharp, Corviknight, and what was the other Pokemon?
So it was Bisharp, Corviknight, and Garchomp, obviously,
yes.
the one you were literally just talking about.
Yes, he was there.
But yeah, this was kind of funny because it was like, we've got all these strong Pokemon, and they throw out these awesome moves, and they animate it so well to show the strength. And then Ash is like, nah, mate, I'm just going to go with my Pikachu and take on this legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, because Lugia looked pretty proud that it just shrugged off those attacks and like knocked all the Pokemon away. And then it's just staring at Ash like, you want some then.
Like genuinely, I would not be surprised if that Bisharp got killed because he got whacked to the next region, not going to lie. But Ash's Pikachu does actually do some damage on Lugia, if only a little bit. Only a little bit. But it does hit. And it just shows how far Pikachu's come in these years.
Yeah, so Lugia kind of like hits back with an Aeroblast, I'm assuming. It looked like that. And then, so Ash is like, do you know what? I'm going to chase after Lugia because it flies off thinking, right, I'm out of here. They're not doing any damage to me. And like unknowingly, at the same time, Goh is also chasing down Lugia. And they both jump on Lugia at the same time. And they show their shock that someone else had the same idea. These are the only two stupid enough in Vermilion City to be like, I'm going to jump on this thing.
I was going to say, I'd like to say, well, just commandeer how brave they are. But in reality, they're just two morons jumping on a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, lovable morons, really. So, after helping Goh up, Ash and Goh start talking about how incredible Lugia is. Goh gets a bit of footage with his phone. They talk about, like, I guess the characteristics of Lugia, like its skin is rougher than you'd think it is. And I guess, what are they, like fins on its back?
Yeah, the fins. And Goh actually records the fins, and they say it's the closest anyone's ever gotten to seeing Lugia's fins. So thank God that at least Goh's got a smartphone. I don't think Ash ever owned one or owns one. Obviously, I mean, it's because of the times and whatnot, but it's interesting to see that Goh's really reliant on his, and Ash is just sort of by the books, straight-laced. Likes to do things the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I guess so, because I mean, obviously, smartphones aren't really a thing when Ash obviously starts his journey.
Of course. So
I think that's why.
But I think obviously they could have integrated it.
Well, he's going to get a Pokédex, which is obviously on your phone now, so he's probably going to get a smartphone. But anyway, they talk about how incredible Lugia is. I think Lugia is kind of like listening in because it's like, I'm going to show these kids a good time. Hydro Pump's a C to kind of like, because it's going to submerge itself into the ocean, which Lugia does best. So it Hydro Pumps it, you get this really great scene of like, because I actually thought, and you as well, in the preview before, Lugia flies down a waterfall. That isn't the case. That's the sea. It's made a massive hole in it. And then as they're about to enter the ocean, you hear Lugia say to Ash through telepathy, let's go. And
really interesting.
I got goosebumps. I will say it now, I got goosebumps because I'm like, oh my god, is this the same Lugia from Pokemon 2000? Obviously the second Pokemon film. Well, Lugia, I think it is, but we'll go into that later, really.
Because when it popped up, we were sort of theorising, we're like, which Lugia is this? Is this brand new Lugia? Is it one from, the TV series with, that was a child?
Mm-hmm. There's one from Hooper as well,
yeah,
I think.
The Power of Us, and
of course,
Pokemon 2000. Well, you and I were both probably hoping for the Pokemon 2000 movie.
Because we don't know if all Lugia have this ability. It might be that. It is a psychic type. It is psychic, so it might just be all Lugias can do this at some point. But to me, the way it looked at Ash as well, and I don't know, I got the thought like there was a shot there was a bit when Lugia was looking back, and I swear it is literally, I probably won't be able to find the same shot, but I'm sure I've seen that in Pokemon 2000, the way it was looking back at Ash.
Yeah, not to mention Ash said he felt a connection with it. And
the fact that he just trusted them, like, I'm not going to like throw him off or whatever, it was fine with them on its back. I do think it is the same one. But again, that's just wishful thinking, like Ash's Pidgeot, but it was so cool. Lugia is one of my favourite Pokemon, so this episode was brilliant. Absolutely so cool to see Lugia.
So afterwards, after Lugia flexes his muscles and shows off all his abilities, he drops them off in a field. I'm not quite sure where it is, to be honest. I don't think Ash and Go really knew where it was, but Ash and Go don't have the smoothest landing. Pikachu nails it.
Yeah, styles on him.
Yeah, I mean, I was holding up a 10 card for him because, he styled it and it was, brilliant. But, Lugia flies off after giving him yet another show. He flaps his wings, gets a few petals going. They just sort of show their love of Pokemon, Ash and Go, have a bit of a chat about, what makes them so great. And it only takes them, well, I should say a lot longer than it should, to realise they're nowhere near where they were.
I'm assuming it's just a route outside, because they did travel the ocean. It's not like they're a different region, I don't think, because obviously they eventually walk back to Vermilion City and it's like really late.
Yeah, they trudge back because they are shattered afterwards. They're on the floor, it's like sun's setting.
Because you think about like in Pokemon episodes, like when they're traversing a region, like it can take a whole day just to get through a route. Sometimes they don't even get at the end of the route, so they did quite well. I'm assuming they weren't too far away, but it would have been a few miles, I'm assuming.
They've had to walk a few hours, I'll say that much.
Also got maybe a slight throwback to the first Pokemon opening with Rapidash running in a field when Lugia's flying over. It got that kind of same
it was the same camera angle, wasn't it? Yeah,
so
we both noticed that and thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so once back at the lab, Koharu lets them in, basically, gives Go his printouts from school, and again, doesn't really interact with Ash. She's kind of met him a few times, and the reason I think this is weird is just Pokemon's always really good at introducing people very quickly, like, hi, I'm Ash from Peloton, and oh, I'm this person. So she's just really...
It shows a bit, she's not on screen for very long at this moment, but what we see is she's the big sister type to Go, as we've expected. She's looking out for him with these school printouts, and she's cross with him that all he wants to talk about is Lugia and the fact that she's had to wait to give him the schoolwork. And Ash tries to talk to her, and she sort of jolts in surprise. I don't know if she's just a bit introverted or whatnot, but
I think that was because he mentions, oh, you're Professor Sagaragi's daughter, and she's just embarrassed that, I think.
Yeah, that could be as well.
That's how I saw it.
I saw it as a sense of, here's another headstrong boy who loves nothing but Pokemon. I don't really want to interact with him, but we'll see obviously in the coming episodes how that will show.
I'm just wondering if they'll have an official introduction, because they're actually going to be living there at Professor Sagaragi's lab, because after seeing Go's footage, Professor Sagaragi asked Ash and Go to become research assistants for him, and so they give Ash and Go a dorm room to share. They fight over the top bunk. I mean, I think that's fair enough. I'd do the same.
You and Everyone I did that, I'm pretty sure. We had bunk beds years ago when we were kids. When we were small children, yeah.
I think I had top bunk.
You won, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know who's going to win out of those two, though.
Probably Ash.
I'm thinking Go's getting top bunk because Pikachu's already chilling on the bottom bunk with Yamper.
We'll see. That is the most pressing issue for next episode. Finally, Professor Sagaragi offers Go his first Pokemon. So he gets a choice between Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. And Go says his first Pokemon will be Mew. I mean, let's be honest, it's not going to be because we know he gets Score Bunny, but still, kind of flexing a bit.
Well, I think he just made a fool of himself, and all of them are looking at him. Koharu's like, what are you talking about? Sagaragi's like...
Just laughs it off, I guess.
He's sort of like, this kid's going to be trouble in a sense, because his ambition is like higher than like the ceiling. And he then shows off his photo of Mew, which has got to be the worst photo of Mew I've ever seen. I mean, props for getting it, but I wouldn't laud it as this incredible thing.
Yeah, so overall, thoughts on this episode, Ollie?
Definitely better than last week's. Not in any way that last week's was bad or anything, but this was just hitting it out the ballpark, really. It was a sensational episode, especially for a TV anime that's going to have hundreds of episodes. Just seeing a legendary on screen again in such an epic fight and so early in the season, it was really great to watch. Definitely excited for things to come. What about you, James?
Yeah, I think it's a really good way to get people on board because it does feel like kind of brand new, but also like it's a continuation. It's a really good start to get people hooked. You get to see a really cool fight with Lugia. Ash and Go meet. It's kind of obviously setting up the series as well with Ash and Go meeting and all that stuff. A very, very good episode. Not sure how it's going to compare obviously to the rest of the season, but for me, I know you're not one to rate episodes. I'd give that one an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very good episode. Maybe obviously if there was more like plot points involved, that would have probably made it for me a bit more interesting, but it was a very good episode. Very good episode.
I feel like it crammed a lot in one episode.
It did.
A lot of content. Some really nice throwbacks. It was just a great episode all round. I don't expect the animation throughout the series to stay consistently as good as this throughout, unfortunately. But you've just got to take these moments and enjoy them when you see them. If they can keep it up and make it look this good throughout, I'm happy to be proven wrong. But yeah, I'm just excited for things to come, really am.
Yeah, so guys, next episode is episode 3, and it's all about Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. So that's going to be very interesting to see if that's similar to one of the previous Pokemon episodes from the first season, which was the secret Bulbasaur garden. Very interesting to see what that'll be like.
Yeah, and it looks like Ash and Go are getting into some squabbles yet again, so they're still learning about each other and trying to get along. It's going to be interesting to see how their relationship improves over time.
Yeah, but with that, guys, that is the episode 2 review. A bit of a lengthy one this time, but of course, we wanted to go into as much detail as we could about it. So if you did enjoy today's episode review, make sure to hit the like button down below. It really helps out this series. And if you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon anime, and of course, Pokemon Sword and Shield just released, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to become a part of the Twintendo Nation.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Peace!